Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
What's up, YouTube? Today we are in the Cascarafa area in Paldea and Pokemon Violet. We're looking here in the desert for a shiny Rufflet today. So we're going to want to go ahead and turn our autosave off because we're going to be making a flying shiny sandwich. So to do that, you can come here, make sure autosave is off. And the reason you want to do that is in case you don't find a Rufflet in your search, you're going to want to reuse the same Mysticas so you don't lose them. So go ahead and set up a picnic, and then you're going to want to run up to the table and say you want to make a sandwich. It's going to pull up the sandwich creation station here. You're going to want to hit X to go into creative mode. And for our shiny sandwich, for flying type, we're going to want a prosciutto, just one prosciutto. We're going to want a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and a yellow bell pepper, and also an onion, just one of each of those. And then you're going to want to hit the plus button to add your Mystica. So you can add 2 Mysticas here. Now, sweet Mysticas, they don't work with all types of sandwich if you use 2 of them, but it does work for the shiny flying type. But usually you can use a combination of any 2 Mysticas for this type of sandwich. So then you just want to add your ingredients here. And one thing to note is you don't want your ingredients to fall off, so just be a little careful how you place them so that none of your ingredients fall off the sandwich while you make it. I usually start with the meat and then I put the onions on because they're a little different shape, and if you try to stack those on top of the peppers later, it can be a little precarious, so I do the onions first. You do it however you like. Then we're going to add our peppers here, so we're just going to go ahead and keep placing these peppers on the sandwich until they are all on it. And once we've done that, we throw in the pick. We don't even have to put the bread on the top of the sandwich. You can actually just drop it off the top of the plate, so I'll do that here at the end. But I'm just going to hurry up and finish placing these ingredients on here. And then we're going to move on to the next screen after we place our pick. So you can see I'll just drop the bread. Don't even need it. Just throw the pick in there. And our sandwich is complete. And you get this little animation here with you enjoying your sandwich with all your Pokemon. No way to skip this that I'm aware of, but the animation is kind of cool, so whatever. Go ahead and watch it. And our sandwich is done. Now you can see the powers that come along with the sandwich up in the top right. We got Sparkling Power Flying, Tidal Power Flying, and Counter Power Flying, all level 3. So we should get plenty of Rufflets here today. So we'll go ahead and move on from this screen, and we can pack our picnic up and start looking. And all you really want to do is just ride around on your Miraidon or whatever the Scarlet version is called. I can't remember. You can throw your lead Pokemon out to try to clear some of these out and get new spawns, but really it doesn't really matter. You can just kind of drive around and look. For the purposes of this video, I am going to speed this process along because it did take quite a while here to find the shiny Rufflet. But I do want to note before I do that you can press right on the directional pad to show how much time is left on your timer for your shiny sandwich. You do get 30 minutes for that sandwich, and once it expires, you will no longer see the insane amount of Rufflets that we see around here. They're one of the only flying types that spawn in the desert, so you can see the sandwich is hard at work here. There's tons and tons of Rufflets everywhere, which is exactly what you want. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a moment so I can speed it up. And once we get to the Rufflet that is shiny, we'll resume. So I'm just fast forwarding 20 times speed through this shiny hunt. Overall, this shiny hunt on this sandwich took about 20 minutes to find the Rufflet. I actually had to make the sandwich 4 times before I was able to find the Rufflet in a hunt. So it did take me around 2 hours of, just doing this over and over. That's why you want to turn the autosave off so you don't have to lose, that many Mysticas to make those sandwiches. But just kind of hyper speed through this. You can see there is a ton of Rufflets that spawn, so the sandwich is doing its job for sure. And we're almost through this section now. And then at the very end here, you'll see me find the Rufflet, and then we'll continue on with the tutorial. All right, so here is the point where I found my Rufflet. You can see there's still just tons around here, and then I came across this little guy, and his wings are brown, so let's go. Shiny Rufflet found. Sandwich successful. So I'm just going to throw a quick ball at him real quick here, and he's pretty low level, so it was a quick, easy catch on this Rufflet. Grabbed him fast. And with these shinies, just for my own sanity, I always rename them something that reminds me that they're shiny. So in this case, I just name him Shiny Rufflet. Super original, I know. But it helps me remember not to release them by accident or trade them by accident. So I'm going to go ahead and just name it Shiny Rufflet. And then I wanted to see the summary, but I went down and looked at my team summary instead. So I'm going to go back here in a moment, and then we'll look at the Shiny Rufflet summary. You can see the shiny symbol down there in the bottom, and we know it's for sure shiny. So send it to the boxes next is what you want to do. And then we will go over how to get this guy into Arceus and evolve this Rufflet into a Hisuian version. So here we are, we're back out in the world. We're going to go save our game so that we don't lose the Rufflet. And then usually I like to turn the autosave back on so that we can not lose things later because we forgot to turn it back on. It's totally up to you, but I do it. So anyways, we are now going to go into the boxes and get our shiny Rufflet. Oh, by the way, I did find at the very end of that search a shiny Hariyama also, so I'll show that off real quick here. This isn't even a flying type, so I guess this was just pure luck, but pretty cool find right here too. That was like after I stopped recording because I had already found the Rufflet. It was like probably 7 minutes later that I found this guy. I had like 30 seconds left on my sandwich, but anyway, there's a look at the Hariyama, and now we're going to go back to the Rufflet. And what we're going to want to do is go to the Rufflet in our boxes, and then we're going to click on it, and we're going to give it an item to hold. The item that we want to give it to hold is the Everstone, which is in other items. If you don't have an Everstone, you can buy them. I want to say they're at like Delibird Gifts, but I can't really remember 100%. Maybe I'll throw that in the description if I remember at the end, but you want to give the Everstone to the Rufflet because the Everstone will prevent the Rufflet from evolving when you level it up, and that way you don't have to level it up. In Arceus, you can do it right here with your candies if you already have candies in Violet or Scarlet like I do. So you can just see right here the description. Oh, I guess I'm looking at I needed to rename the Hariyama Shiny. So we're going to do that real quick here. So we're going to call it Shiny Hariyama. Nothing to do with the video that I'm recording, but just another little thing that I do to stop myself from accidentally removing them. Anyways, we're going to go back to the summary here. You can see held item, an item to be held by a Pokemon. A Pokemon holding this peculiar stone is prevented from evolving. Make sure that's the item you give it so that it doesn't evolve here in Violet, because if it does, it will not be Hisuian. So now we want to go back into our bag and we want to go to other items again. This is if you have candies, like right now I'm going to use them because I have them. So I'm going to use some extra large candies here on the Rufflet to get it up higher. I'm just going to push it to 100. Really, you can just push it up to, I think it's 56 for it to evolve. It's either 54 or 56. I can't remember for certain, but it's up there. I would just say 56 to be safe. That got it to 67. I'm just one of those people, I like everything at 100 that I'm going to use or think is cool. So I'm just going to forget all these moves for now. You can always come back and do remember moves later. And right now the whole purpose is to get this guy leveled. So I'm just going to keep on clicking no for now, and then go back into the bag and get the large candies next. I guess I scrolled down and was a little confused. This happened really early this morning, and now I'm doing a voiceover for this part. So going back into the Rufflet, I'm going to use as many as I can here. It says 88 to max it, so I'm going to use 87 just to save one of those large candies. It should get it pretty close to 100. And then I can just use one medium candy to get it all the way to 100. Might seem crazy, but those candies really come in handy a lot of times, so I try to preserve as many as I can. So just using one medium, we now have our Rufflet at level 100. So before you exit to go to Pokemon Home, you want to go back into your boxes and you want to move the Rufflet back into the boxes and out of your party, because when you go to Pokemon Home, it'll only let you access your boxes. It won't let you access your party. So move the Rufflet back into the boxes, and then you'll be able to open Home and move the Rufflet into Pokemon Home. So we're going to save so that everything that we just did saves for sure. And then I will be back with the Pokemon Home portion. Okay, so we're going to open up Pokemon Home. And we're going to let it load here. We're just going to press the button to go in. And then once it loads up, we're going to click on the button in here that says Pokemon. And Pokemon Home is a little slow to load, but guys, it's totally worth it to have this app 100% if you use more than one Pokemon game or if you play more than one Pokemon game. So you're just going to go into Pokemon, you're going to connect it to Violet. And now we're connected. So now you're going to want to go over to the boxes on the right, which are your Violet boxes. Your boxes on the left are your Pokemon Home boxes. And you're going to want to find the box that your shiny Rufflet is in. For me, it's box 24. We're going to grab this Rufflet here and drag it into our Pokemon Home box. Then you can just hit the plus button on your Joy-Con and it'll ask you if you'd like to save the changes. So you save changes and exit, and it'll do its thing. Again, it takes a moment with Pokemon Home, but again, totally worth it if you love to play multiple Pokemon games like I do and move them back and forth and get exclusives and bring them into the other games. So now we're just going to go ahead and close out Pokemon Home here. And then I'm going to load up my other Switch that has Arceus save on it. And we're going to go ahead and get Arceus fired up after we move our Rufflet into the Arceus boxes. So now we have the Switch with Arceus save loaded up. Just going to go ahead and go into Pokemon Home first before we load up Arceus. And again, we're going to let Pokemon Home load up here. I'll fast forward through this part since we already saw it. So once again, we're going to go into our Pokemon section. This time we're going to connect to Arceus. So you're going to say yes, you want to connect to this game. So we're connecting now. And same thing as before. This time we're just going to take the Rufflet out of the Pokemon Home box. And instead of moving it from the game to the home box, we're moving it from the home box to our pastures in Arceus. Drop it there in the pasture. And then we're going to do the same thing. Hit the plus button. It's going to tell you about the moves. You just click Save Changes and Exit. And it'll do its thing. And then you're going to load up Arceus as soon as you can. But first, you're going to want to just make sure you close out of Pokemon Home. So I'll go ahead and fast forward through this part and the loading up of Arceus. Now I'm already in Jubilee Village. This is where you want to be. If you're not already there, you can just go there, and then you're going to want to talk to Marie over here at the pastures. And what you're going to want to do is just move your new shiny Rufflet into your party. So you just click move and then move it into the party. We can replace the Braviary as it's there. Actually, I think it would be better to leave that Braviary so we can see the difference between a regular Hisuian Braviary and the shiny Hisuian Braviary once we're finished. Anyways, you're going to go back and leave the conversation with Marie, and then you're going to open your menu with the up button on the directional pad to get into your party. And you're going to go over and you see the Pokeball is shining there. You can either click X to evolve, or you can just click A and then tell the game you want to evolve your Rufflet. So I'm just going to click A and then click evolve. And we get our awesome animation. The Hisuian animations are just so cool. So cool, you guys. Now we have a shiny Braviary Hisuian version in Arceus that you can, I'm pretty sure, use as a mount. And I haven't tried yet. Obviously, I just got it, but I'm almost 100% sure you can use this as a mount. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you out and that you're riding around on your shiny Braviary soon in Arceus. Have an awesome day, YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy.